And welcome to a live Saturday night breaking news edition of the OHIO podcast. I'm your host, Buckeye Boggs, aka the Podfather. Above me, that's the Wild Man, Chris Wilds. To the top left, that's the Doctor, Corey Thompson. Gentlemen, first time I've gotten a chance to really speak to both of you this week. And it is crazy right now in Buckeye Nation. I am out at dinner this evening celebrating Christmas with my daughter, who I haven't gotten to see in a couple months since she's at college, and my phone literally is on the table going brrr, brrr, brrr. I'm like, do I look? Do I not look? Do I even want to know who's next? Because I know someone just went into the portal. That is literally what's going through my head while I'm having my fish and chips at Bun's restaurant here in Delaware. And then I looked down at my phone and I clicked on it. I shouldn't have. Sure enough, Delane is in the transfer portal. Top 150, I think it was 55th ranked player in the entire class. One of the better recruits we got in the 2025 class. True freshman this year, played in all 14 games this year for Ohio State. He go in the transfer portal. Chaz Coleman, who we spent so much time talking about, jumping in the transfer portal from Penn State, signed with Tennessee today. And really, we haven't really garnered any big names yet. We haven't captured any names that Ohio State fans were hoping we would get, or we, are actively trying to get. And we just keep losing player after player after player after player. And it is now official. I think it's officially time where I think it's fair if Ohio State fans want to, and without getting any pushback from anybody, they should be allowed to ask the questions, what's happening? Why is this going on? I know how it is in this fan base. I've been in this fan base my entire life. As soon as you question anything with this coaching staff, there's a large and very vocal portion of this fan base who's going to push back at you, saying you're being negative. This is not this is not me being negative or positive. I'm just simply saying I think it's fair that we can ask the question now, why? And if the answer is simply this is just modern college football, welcome, then I need to know that so I can adjust my thinking as a Buckeye fan. If this is we don't have the money because we're playing fairly by the rules, fine, okay? Let me know that so that we can begin to talk about what we need to change. If this is the players don't like Ryan Day and the coaching staff and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, okay. Let me know that so that we can start to dissect this. The fact that there's so many questions has led to so many opinions about all of this. And the sad part of it is, fellas, is while we sit here and we ponder what's going on, another one just hits the portal. Another one hits the portal. And as Ohio State fans, I understand where everybody's frustration is coming from. I guess I'll start with that. Corey, it's been a while since we talked, and this portal madness has gotten very, very crazy. I would love to get your 2 cents. Let's first start with Fahim, since he's the latest to jump in the portal. Pretty down about him getting in the portal. I thought he was a great athlete.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Are we going about just Fahim right now, or are we going to talk just general? What's going on?
So let's talk of Fahim first, since he's the breaking news here, and then we'll go generalities.
Gotcha. Because I didn't want to get ahead of myself here, but it stinks to lose him. You talked about how you prepare your mindset for this anymore. My mindset is at a point where I just don't care anymore. I don't want to fall in love with these players anymore because it used to be you follow them as a recruit, whatever, and they come out. I'm sorry, I'm still getting ahead of myself, but Fahim Delane was one of those guys that we followed as a recruit. We got excited when he committed, and he played a lot. The coaching staff seemed to like him, and I don't understand why. You're going to probably start next year, probably. I know we all know Jalen McClain's a starter, and he says he's coming back. The next spot's open. You can go grab it. Caleb Downs' spot's gone. So, um, it's like, why? What's the why do you leave? I don't want to speak for the young man. I don't know what's going on with him personally with the staff, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense outwardly, and it's it's getting me to the point where I just don't care anymore because college football to this day is made it way too easy to not commit to anything and respect any kind of contract or deal you have. And it's not like his coach left. He has Matty P and he has Gary. What I can't say his last name.
Matty G.
Matty P. Yeah, perfect. The scheme's not going to change. As far as we know, Matt P's coming back anyway. But knock on wood, who knows what tomorrow will bring. But again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't like it, but it's honestly I can't speak on it without it actually taking away from my love of college football as a whole. Because it's just like, what's the point? It's all portal now. Recruiting doesn't even matter anymore. So
Chris.
This is disgusting. It's nauseating. I'm kind of with Corey on the standpoint of it makes me not even care about college football anymore. Here you get another, probably at least a third guy who's potentially going to start next year entering the portal. And again, not to get too far in my head, of myself, but if you watch my video over on Patreon today, you'll see that I called it the perfect storm. What's going on right now? But whereas Corey thinks this is an indictment of the system, and I don't disagree, the system is broken. Hell, NFL free agency has more
Structure.
Mm-hmm. and accountability than what we've got here. I still think that there is fastly becoming an endemic lack of faith in Ryan Day at Ohio State. And I don't know that it is his fault. But something has changed there over the past 2 years. And it started with that Michigan loss. And maybe our expectations got too high. Maybe the bags of money just started flowing towards guys from Ohio State at that point. I don't know. Maybe Ryan Day himself has changed. But I think whatever is going on right now, there is a major issue. This is a team that it's not about putting a Band-Aid on it anymore. We are bleeding out. And we're bleeding out rapidly. Eric, we can't hear you.
I guess, Chris, we should go on until we can hear Eric again.
Yeah, Eric's volume cut out.
Yeah, yeah, it's just random kind of thing. Chris, I'll
maybe his volume entered the portal.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Chris, let's talk about the culture a little bit. I'm not saying you're wrong on that. I have no idea what it is. I'm just like, we all thought the culture was really strong over the last year or so. So what's changed would be the question. Like, why would I would question these players if they are losing faith in Ryan Day and say, well, why, when he won a national title just last year, and what other than Signetti, who's doing it that much better right now? And Signetti's got the best culture in college football at the moment. It's hard to deny that, but so I'm not saying it's not accurate. I'm just saying if they have lost faith in Day, I'd almost suggest that delayed gratification is a serious problem with today's youth. like just seeing out the process rather than, okay, we lost a couple games, I don't trust Ryan Day, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from, but I think this goes even deeper. Something that Eric actually got right, and I'm glad he's not on screen to hear that right now. Something that Eric got right, which was, we all gave Ryan Day
Check 1,
this
2, 3, 4.
great, massive amount of credit for 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know that he deserved it. I don't know that it wasn't the senior leadership that was actually driving that playoff run, and not Ryan Day. I feel like when you look at the senior leaders we lost, when you look at, and again, I did this whole thing on Patreon earlier, so I don't want to kind of take away from that because I'd like people to go watch that. But if you look at losing Brian Hartline, who I think was actually the heart and soul of this coaching staff, I think he was the Buckeye. I mean, even though we've got other Buckeyes on there, he was the Buckeye. He was the Ohio kid. He was the kid that came to Columbus, made a name for himself, went to the pros, came back and started coaching at Ohio State and doing great things. He was the young enough to relate to the younger players, old enough to provide them wisdom. He was a trusted confidant to a lot of these kids, more so than Ryan Day. But that makes sense because he had more contact with especially the offensive players, than Ryan Day. I think when we lost Brian Hartline, I think when we failed in the playoffs, I think when we lose that senior leadership, I think when you have, and something that not a lot of people have touched on, when you have 5 offensive coordinators in 5 years, when you count Coes, 5 different offensive coordinators, 4 different people have had their hands on play calling in the last 5 years at one point or another. There's a lack of cohesiveness on the offense. You've got the NIL realities that you're talking about, Corey. I think this is the perfect storm, but I think that there is a lack of faith that Day is going to be able to navigate this storm, and I think that this massive exodus to the portal is the result of that.
I just want to point out to a comment real quick. Nobody on this program said fire Day.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. We're talking. We're simply just talking. It's not. Nobody said fire Day.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
yep,
we can.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Can I, Chris? Not to argue with you. I know you don't have the voice to argue back, so I'm not going to do that. No, I don't. I'm not going to do that. If the players have lost faith in Ryan Day, why did they join the program in the first place? So that would be my counter argument to that statement.
How many of these players were actually encountering Ryan Day every step of the way through their recruitment, or were they talking to were they talking more with their position coaches, with those guys who were recruiting them?
Yes and no, because the position group coach, although he is your main contact and he is your main coach, the head coach is still the freaking head coach.
He is. And I'm not disputing that, Eric. But what I am saying is, I don't think that Ryan Day, I think maybe we were blinded by what, and you were off the air when I said it, and I actually gave you credit for something earlier, Eric.
What?
I said that I was wrong.
Mark it down.
I said that we gave far too much credit for Ryan Day.
This takes the dinosaur pin, actually.
For that 2024 playoff run. I think he received far too much credit. That was a player-driven, almost revolt, which occurred after that Michigan game.
But you also have to give Ryan Day credit for being the type of head coach and leader that would allow the atmosphere or the environment in which for that to take place. Because I know a lot of head coaches who would have never even allowed that to occur, such
Is that a
as
sign of
Dabo's.
strength or a sign of weakness?
I think it's a sign of intelligence, is what I think it's a sign of. Dabo Sweeney, you think he would have let a player-led meeting where they confronted him? There ain't no way. He would have been like,
Absolutely. And then he would showed him the door.
so. Um, I, I, I want to push back, and here's why I want to push back. Let me get very personal. I like Ryan Day. I like him as a man. I like him as a husband. I like him as a father. I like him as a football coach.
When
I
did y'all
like
get
him as a
married?
You like him as a persona, Eric. You don't know Ryan Day, the man, any more than I do, any more than Corey does. You know the persona. You know what's going on in front of the camera. We don't know what's going on behind the camera. You know, and that is what culture is what's going on behind the cameras. What's going on when we're not there?
I agree. I agree with that, but you have to admit that the fruit of the labor of that culture has produced an amazing record, a ton of wins, and a 2024 national championship, albeit player led. I understand that, but the coaching staff was definitely involved in that. If this is all, if the how many are is it 26, 27 now?
28, I think.
28.
28 scholarship guys. I think it's like 32 overall, 33 overall,
Okay,
including your
right, because you got
walk-ons.
the 5
Yeah, don't get me
walk-ons.
wrong. There's let's be honest about it. There's a lot of them that are inconsequential. That like they're just leaving because they're never gonna see the field here. So I mean,
Right.
But at the same time, Corey, how many are truly inconsequential when you talk about depth and when you talk about the way this team is bleeding out right now? I
I think
mean,
we saw some consequential names over the last couple of days for sure. Like Jacquizz Carter and Fahim Delane, I think were two very consequential players. Mylan Graham, honestly, in Porter, you'd say, but I'd say Graham. There's a story behind there. I'm not going to go into because I'm not trying to trash anybody. But
right.
and
Most of us
Scott
at
and
the end
West
don't
were
know.
not. Scott and West are tough losses for sure. So I'd say about 7 of them are kind of consequential that I've seen so far.
A lot of people. I see some people in the chat uh, awesome. Yeah, Bart. Let me send you the link, buddy. Let me do 2 things at once because I think this is really interesting to see. So we've been doing a transfer portal tracker over on our website. See, time to plug our website, theohiopodcast.com. Pretty simple, theohiopodcast.com. This is our transfer portal tracker. I'm just going to read you guys the names right now. Just read names to you. Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham, C.J. Hicks, James Peoples, Malik Hartford, Fahim Delane, Aaron Scott, Dominic Kirks, Bryce West, Lincoln Keenholes, Jelani Thurman, Jarquez Carter. This one I think is just baffling to me. Devontae Armstrong, only one of the twins.
Still a
Those
week, Eric.
I
Maybe
know.
one of them's ahead of the other one. So
Well, very well could be.
Maybe one of them came back to the room early, Eric.
Now, there are more names on this, but for the most part, we can almost, Corey, explain away a large portion of these. Was buried on the depth chart, got passed over by a younger player,
was never gonna play. Yeah.
was never going to play. You know, like Sam Dixon literally was passed over by 3 freshmen.
Hmm.
Okay. So you can explain a lot of these away. Jackson Corvell, the kicker, never given a chance to be the kicker.
Hmm.
Nick McClarty went to
Inconsistent
Arizona.
in practice. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So you could sit here and explain a lot of these away, but the names I just read to you were guys who were in line to compete for a starting job this year, and or were on the cusp of being the next dudes. Like they maybe one more year and then they'll be year number 3 and they're ready to go. And it's just like, nope, we're out. See ya. And so it leads to this uncertainty within the fan base where they start questioning things.
But you know what perpetuates that, Eric,
Sure.
is the fact that while we're losing these potential starters, we're really getting no one.
Okay, let's thank you for mentioning that. Let's go back to this. Let's go down here because on the we also have incoming transfers. John Walker, 2 years of eligibility, defensive tackle, pretty good. Devin McEwen, wide receiver, UTSA, 1 more year left. He had a decent year at G6. Christian Alliegro, linebacker, Wisconsin, had a better 2024 than 2025. Started the season off really good, had a major injury. Mason Williams, tight end, Ohio U. I guess we're going back to the OU tight end well. Dalton Riggs, long snapper. You have to have one.
I actually like that one.
You have to have one. He's one of the best out there. Awesome. But it's like, what are we replacing all this depth with? And the question and the answer is nothing right now. And so that's what is frustrating. Vader says, check your phone. You guys can talk amongst yourself.
We're gonna do the Mike Myers thing.
It's a long one. Let me give you a topic. Talk amongst yourselves.
Discuss amongst yourselves. Coffee talk.
But yeah, let's talk. Why aren't we effectively getting out there and getting anybody, Corey?
I think they're working on it, and I think they're working on guys they're having to compete with major programs with. I think that's part of the slowdown. It's not as easy as picking up somebody who's from like the University of Ohio, for example. I think that's part of it. If you're to believe the writers, which I don't know that I do or don't, such as Alex Gleitman, for example, they're really having a lot going on behind the scenes that they've begged the media not to talk about. This is my approach to this at this point. Wait till the dust settles. It's just such a chaotic system now that if you swivel your head after every turn of events, you're just going to get whiplash and you're going to, your roller coaster of emotions is going to be up and down. I'm more along the lines of now, I'm going to just stay above what's the cat fight that's going on underneath me. And I'm just going to see what happens and comes out. And then let's just say we panic right now, but then they come out with a really good portal class on paper and they get a really good offensive coordinator and then yada, yada, yada. And the team all of a sudden looks set to compete again. And we all ended up saying, oh, wait, I spent a lot of time panicking for nothing. Now, if the dust settles and they have a lot of holes and the coaching staff's not filled out and we're not sure about whether direction they're going, then yeah, we can discuss it and say, yeah, well, crap, they're really starting to fail. I don't know that they're failing right now. I just know that that people are on Twitter, at least, are very, very emotional about it.
And I think they've got a right to be.
They always have a right.
If you look, and let's just take a look, and I've got it pulled up here. 247 Sports, they're top 50 players in the portal right now. Number 1 is Sam Levitt. We don't need a quarterback.
Is he still in the portal? I thought he was with LSU.
He's still in the portal as of right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cam Coleman, obviously, he's a great need right now because we've got, 3 receivers left in that room? I mean, it's that bad. We went from the best and deepest wide receiver room in the country to having 3 wide receivers who, by the way, may still be the best and deepest wide receiver room in the country. As long as you got Jeremiah Smith in the mix.
Hi, Bart.
But we're losing out on guys like Coleman.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Bart. I'm concerned. When you look at some of the big names that are out there, names that are committing already, names in positions of need for us, and we're not getting these guys, yet we're hemorrhaging. I think you've got to be concerned. I'm going to be the first to say it, and I'm not proud to say it, but right now, if something doesn't change, we may be worse than what Michigan was the year after their national championship.
Bart, you just joined us, we're obviously I'm sure you were listening to our conversation. Feel free.
Well, I think it's a shiny new toy that these kids are getting. Before when they had the opportunity, they had to sit out a year. So you didn't do that. And it's so easy to do that if they don't get their way or they don't see the playing time, they leave. And it makes them easy. And I still go back to if you have a portal guy, give me one great Ohio State person that's portaled that we craved and really lost. Until that happens, it's just they're going to do it, and it makes it easy. And I think they'll end up regretting it because it's Ohio State. But they're going to do it and get more money, and that's just the culture of our. We've lost an inordinate amount of people, but we've had so much better roster than most college football programs that people crave what we have, and they will overpay. And I think Ohio State is not willing to overpay because it starts a precedent that they might not be able to follow up on in the next couple of years. If Bo Jackson gets, hypothetical $1.5 million, well, now anybody who wants to come in there has 1,000. Are we going to have to pay him $1.5 million?
Well, isn't that true of anything that we do? I mean, eventually you're going to have. I mean, it's like cost of living raises. Like eventually you're going to have to raise minimum wage. You're going to have to raise these financial bars to stay competitive, or you're going to fall behind. And I know, I know that we look at Ohio State and it's this juggernaut, and we say there's no way we're going to fall behind. But I don't think you can honestly look at what's going on in the portal and say, "Oh, we're good, we're fine." I know some people are like, "Yeah, just relax." It's hard to relax with 28 people in the portal, and you add those who graduated and those who are leaving early as juniors. It's over 50% of your roster is going to be turned over now.
Well, I think it's essentially what we have is a salary cap without actually having a salary cap. And I think they're trying to manage this. We've got, two of the greatest college players in the game today with Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sand. You pay those, how much is left? And they're trying to manage that, and I think they're getting caught. They're not willing to do what LSU is doing, I guess, is skirting the rules. Wish they would, but I just think there's so much money to go around, and they're falling behind, and it is worrisome.
So I laid that out for everybody in a video earlier this week, how that the percentages of what Ohio State is spending for the three categories of recruiting, player retention, and transfer portal are going to have to change. This new era is going to change how they look at that. And unfortunately, based on the calendar of where this is, there's going to be a 1-year reset. And unfortunately, I feel like we're living through the one transfer portal year of that reset that's going to hurt, and it's hurting worse than anybody anticipated. That also being said, when you look at that, and Bart, you brought it up, is the approach that Ohio State has taken with the NIL. And it is my understanding that they brought the collectives in-house. The collectives are set there for the players to utilize to get in touch with corporations to do deals with them based off of their name, image, likeness. The $20 million or whatever it is that Ross Bjork says the football team's going to spend on revenue sharing is basically the Ohio State's football version of the NIL to the players. And it's some roughly around 20 million. And then beyond that, you're going to have to go out and get an NIL deal. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm a player renegotiating, the only money Ohio State has currently to negotiate with is the revenue sharing. Beyond that, you've got to go to the collective, which is now in-house, that will then put you in touch with a corporation who will then negotiate a contract with you for whatever. Let's just use a car dealership, right? Reichard wants to get 3 players to go do a commercial for them, and they're going to give them a 2-year lease on a car or a 1-year lease on a car and X amount of thousands of dollars for the commercial, right? That negotiation and contract is worked through with the player's agent and the lawyer of that corporation. That's not just going to happen overnight. That takes time. So explain to me how someone like LSU is able to get a kid out of the portal and get him a $3 or $4 million deal, and it starts adding up well over the revenue sharing.
Because they're doing it beforehand.
They're skirting the NCAA's or what's it called?
Their
the like little house thing that you're supposed to submit, the clearinghouse.
The NIL clearinghouse.
You're supposed to submit these deals to the clearinghouse to get them approved, and that's not happening. And there's a little legal loophole here.
Well, because the NCAA has no balls to do anything about it.
There's a legal loophole here. If states say you don't have to submit that to them because we do not recognize that organization as a legal entity, you don't have to do it as a university. So there is definitely two sets of rules schools are playing by, and you've got a set of schools who are driving up these NIL deals that are becoming astronomical, whilst there are a lot of schools, majority of them in the Big Ten, by the way, are trying to play by the rules. Am I understanding that correctly? Someone tell me if I'm wrong.
I think you are. I really feel like you've got a clear understanding, and what we are seeing is just the equivalent of the old, and you talked about LSU, prime example, so I'm going to throw it up there. You're seeing the equivalent of the old SEC brown bag discount coming back, or brown bag advantage coming back. This is what they are doing. They are skirting the rules, and they are getting things lined up earlier. They're avoiding going through the clearinghouse, and they are getting that advantage back by doing so. Now, is it sustainable?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's sustainable. But what I do know is this. Ohio State's going to have a hard line, and they're going to have to find a way to get more money involved. And if it means cutting programs that are not making money, then it's time. I know that they said they want to keep all their Olympic sport programs, guys. It's time. If you're going to keep your football team relevant, it's time. If you want your men's basketball team to be relevant, it's time. Those are your programs making money. It's time to start cutting the dead weight.
So Buck Vader says, but not all money comes from Ohio State, like Smith. Exactly.
Correct.
So if you go through the collective to go through a corporation for more NIL for your name, image, likeness, and you get a Red Bull contract, you have to submit that to the NCAA clearinghouse. That was the new rule that NCAA established, and one of the reasons why Ross Bjork and those in the athletic department brought the collectives in-house so that they would be in line with the NCAA's ruling. But I'm telling you, Tennessee ain't playing that game. LSU ain't playing that game. Miami ain't playing that game. Texas Tech ain't playing that game. I don't think Oregon's playing that game.
I don't think Oregon's playing much any games these days.
Oregon ain't playing anything right now. That's right. Thank you, Corey, for the levity. Appreciate that.
Well, I don't think it's sustainable because you look at Texas Tech, what they spent this year, and are they going to be happy with making it to the college playoffs, one game and done? If you do that 4 or 5 years, is that money still going to keep on rolling in to get that without national championships? That's where it's going to be at. If they spend all this money and these teams aren't producing with this money, is that going to be sustainable? And that's just, if they have so much money, then I guess it is. But when you say the collective, how many people in Ohio State's actually going to be taking advantage of that? Is an Aaron Scott, Bryce West, are they going to be able to take advantage of that collective? If you're a person who's going to want to sell a product, are you going to pick an Aaron Scott or a Bryce West to do that? Maybe
obviously you want to go. You're going to want Jeremiah Smith. You're going to want Julian Sane. You're going to want Caleb Downs.
So it's not going to help with retention. That's what I'm saying. You're going to get the big players. You're not going to help out with the people that might need it.
Hi, Sean.
What's up, fellas?
Well, welcome to the great debate. I know that this is, Fahim Delane is in the portal. We have 28 scholarship athletes now. and we have a major issue at Ohio State at this point.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on everything that's transpired with the transfer portal.
I am very frustrated because, I mean, you would think after what we've done the last couple of years that we'd be able to have enough money in the NIL to at least compete with some of these guys. I mean, the bad news, we're losing all these guys and we're not really bringing anybody in. And the guys we're bringing in are just depth pieces. They're not difference makers. There's not a Caleb Downs in there. I mean, and we're losing. What's really frustrating is we're losing guys right now to the portal who are penciled in that were probably starters. Like for him, Delane, he was probably the first one in line to get the safety job. I mean, to replace, Caleb. Then I mean Quincy Porter, but there's some stuff up behind the scenes with him. But there's other guys that just. I mean, Aaron Scott. I mean, you got Jermaine Matthews, you got Sanchez, and you got him. You figured those three would be your starting corners this year, and he hit the portal. It's crazy, man.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question real quick. What do you think if we beat Miami and we beat Ole Miss, we're in the national championship game, or we win the national championship, do we see this exodus? And if your answer is no, then is it a culture thing? So you got to ask your question. If we win a national championship, do we lose players? What do you guys think?
I mean, if it takes winning a natty just to keep team players on it, then football's dead.
Well,
It's not a culture thing at that point. That's just you're not going to win it every year. 135 teams end it with a loss. We didn't win it, so I'm bolting. Then goodbye. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
But that is today's culture in football, Corey, and it's sad.
I
It
agree
is.
it's today's culture, but it's been bred by a system that doesn't work.
You're 100% right.
Yep.
But the fact is, in answer to your question, Bart, do I think a national title, we still see this many people go? I'm going to say no, we don't see quite as many. But I do think we still see a significant number.
yeah.
Because, and I have not read all these. I've been seeing in the chat, have you read this player's mom's comments or this player's dad's comments? I have not. I have not read all the comments from all the parents. I
We
probably
did this
should.
for the crystal ball for the tight end from Northwestern, just so everybody knows.
But the fact is this: you look at this team and where it's been, and what it's done, and where it's headed, and you guys can all have the rose-colored shades on and say everything's going to be fine. Guys, it's not going to be fine, because the fact is, when we get around to doing something in the portal, there's going to be nothing but trash left in there.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
I don't know that, but I'm telling
Then
you.
don't say it like it's fact. Because
you look at
how
what's
many
happening
of
right now in the portal, based on what we've done so far in the portal era,
I don't think it's appropriate to call a player trash who
fair.
I mean
fair.
If that was my son, I'd be very offended by
Okay, let's
Maybe
do this.
difference makers.
We are not going to have difference makers left in the portal. We are not going to have impact players left in the portal by the time we get around to getting off our backsides and doing something.
I don't even think it's about talented difference makers as much. I think we should just go the route of Indiana and get older players now, because they got a bunch of JMU guys. Well, not this year. They did last year, and they're winning with them. And it's not like they were the top of the tier, the cream of the crop in recruiting. They're just all 57 years old or whatever they are, going against a bunch of 19 years old. So I think their age was only like 1 year younger per average than the Green Bay Packers. It's like that insane. They're like averaging 23 and a half per starter. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that has something to do with it. And I think older experience, like it's almost like March Madness. There's always a team that's kept the team together for 5 years that is beaten up on these teams with 5-star freshmen because they're more experienced, they're more mature, they can handle the situation. And I think that's been a big key as to why Indiana's doing so well, because they have no 5-stars, none. So I think honestly, in this age of immaturity in college football, because kids don't stick around to develop and develop that character they have to go through the process to get better and become a starter. Now you need to go get those guys who are mature, and they will beat the younger kids who are immature.
Well, you're not going to get that anymore, because the name on the back of the jersey matters more than the name on the front of the jersey it does now.
I mean, Corey, great point. Look at last year. Look at what Will Howard did compared to Julian Sane. I mean, Will Howard was so much more experienced, older. He didn't freak out in the big time. I mean, he's seen everything. Julian, being a freshman, just coming in his first year as a starter, I mean, he had his growing pains. And, I mean, it showed the last 2 games of the year when he was seeing stuff they'd never seen before. So,
Yep.
All right, I got Vader. Vader's in the chat. Thanks for having our insider Buck Vader's with us this evening, and he's the one who contacted me earlier. He was like, "Boggs, jump on it." I'm like, "Okay, buddy." So there's a report out that
You better do it before Vader gets in the portal.
There's been tampering with Vader already. By the way,
If Vader leaves, is our culture a problem?
Oh, our culture's a problem. Make no mistake about it.
our culture's been a problem since day one.
Day
Corey.
one.
So there's been a report out that, and I want to read this without using names because I don't think that's fair. Here's a basic idea. There's nothing personal against any particular player per se, but apparently there are a couple players that have garnered the majority of that money, and which leaves pennies on the dollars.
Smith's one of them. You don't have to hide that one.
There are plenty of, which leaves pennies on the dollars left for these players, and they're feeling like
slighted.
Yes, they're feeling slighted. And apparently there was agreements or conversations that had taken place that these players were under the understanding that there would be more NIL for them because these players would be getting more money from outside endorsements. And the fact that they're taking now the majority of that money, they're feeling like, what the heck? This isn't what we were told. Which, if that's the case, I kind of,
So
I
the players
understand
are
where they're
feeling
coming
lied
from.
to.
Yeah.
The players are feeling like they were lied to.
Vader, if you're still, did I explain that correctly without using names? And of course, most people can read between the lines, but.
So this is what I told you earlier. When I talked to you on the phone, Eric. I followed NBA basketball because I'm not very smart. But when LeBron was with Cleveland, or any great player, they command the majority of the money. So your mid-level players, you cannot afford, or another 2 or 3 superstars. You can afford the bottom of the minimum league. And I think that's where we're at because we've got probably one of the top 2 returning quarterbacks in the game, and we've got the top receiver. If you want those 2, you don't have the luxury of getting everybody else. And I think that's the problem that we're facing. We are not the ML, we're not the Yankees or the, Mets or whoever
Dodgers.
that can just spend. Yeah, that's why I meant Dodgers. That can have, 5 Jeremiah Smiths on the team because they can afford it. And I think that's the reality we're at. We're on a salary cap and they've got to be able to finesse it. And I don't, I just think
the understanding, though, Bart, from the fan base is that we are the Yankees. Well, you look at the rest of the Big Ten, and that's how they looked at us. That's how they viewed us. And if the fan base feels that, hey, we are the Yankees, why are we going about this like the Cincinnati Reds? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you right now, if Major League Baseball institutes a salary cap, you're not going to see the Dodgers and the Yankees winning every year because everybody's going to be on a level playing field.
Never going to happen.
Well, Sean, I know that. I'm not saying it should. I'm just saying it's equivalent to what we're doing right now, and we got it because of their name on the front of our shirts, the Buckeyes. That was our appeal. That appeal is gone because somebody else is offering some more money.
Eric. Sorry.
No, you go, Sean. You're fine.
No, when I talked to a player's dad last night, and I take it with a grain of salt, but I was told, I said, hey, what's going on in there? And he told me that there's been a lot of broken promises. Now take it for what it's worth, grain of salt.
Same
Like,
thing Vader just reported.
you know, but I was told that there was a lot of broken promises, and people are pissed off, and they're leaving. But we want to develop. What's bad is we can't even develop guys now the way it's looking, because we get them for 1 or 2 years and they hit the portal. They come here and we teach them how to play, and then they jump for more money. So I mean, we're kind of at a catch-22 right now.
Well, the fact is, this isn't going to be fixed until the NCAA institutes contracts, unionizes the players, puts a collective bargaining agreement in place, and puts a salary cap in place.
100%. Yep.
That's the only way to fix what's going on in college football.
So are we telling the truth, GOJ? Is that what's going on? Is this report that, and apparently one of the parents said, is that what's happening?
And if there are broken promises, Eric, I contribute that to what would cause
I see what
the
Buckeye
lack
is
of faith and a culture issue.
So that's exactly what I was thinking. And if Jeremiah Smith and Julian, who's I think would take the majority of it, if they want a great team, if they get outside money from the collective, take less of that revenue and spread it out so you can't keep other players. I mean,
it's like when Tom
That's the
Brady
Tom
would
Brady,
take less money.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith's going to make freaking millions and millions of dollars, and so is Julian Sand. So let's leave that money to somebody else to make a great team. Now, I'm not going to say that they're selfish or anything, because I'm just speculating this is what that could happen. But go
mean, that's what LeBron and Dwayne Wade all did in Miami. They all took less money so they could all play together and have a better team to win a couple, to win a championship. Yeah. So
that's what it's going to take.
Well, I mean, do we actually trust anybody to do anything right? I mean, the NCAA let Michigan get away with cheating for how many freaking years? I mean, people are tampering left and right. Nothing's happening. No one's enforcing anything, guys. This is the wild, wild west. Though,
thus killing our love for college football.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it really
is.
Because
again, this is me showing my age. I'm 44 years old.
Amen, Tyler. Go ahead.
I still would have loved to have gotten a scholarship and not have college bills that I'm still paying at the age of 44.
You're only 44?
You son of a gun.
And you're still paying? Oh, my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And I will be for a long time because it was expensive, and I got 3 degrees, and I was, stupid.
I paid mine off at 42, so, yeah.
Go ahead, Vader. Bring it up.
I'll die with my student loans.
Yeah, part of me, that's why I do it. I'm like, I will not pay more than the minimum.
Vader asked a question.
Yep. Eric, can I bring up one point nobody's talking about? Absolutely. GOJ, Day has to deal with 100 agents. Yeah. Uncle agents and big brother agents. Yes. It's frustrating. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Who would blame Ryan Day if he went to be a pro coach right now? I wouldn't blame him.
I wouldn't.
Honestly, it'd be easier to manage a pro roster. I mean, it would be easier to manage a pro roster than it is today's college.
He wouldn't have to. Jim does it, and he gets them whatever he gets them.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Vader's next comment, that I'm very intrigued to see.
And Ryan Day could say, "Hey, the team's going to pay you what they're going to pay you, and you agree to it or not." It's such a simpler system than what we have right now in college football.
Yes. Go ahead.
The bad thing is LSU's and Tech, they're setting the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we either got to meet that or we don't get them. And I don't think we're willing to do that as of yet. And that's what is terrible for.
And it won't change until OSU has a 7-5 year, where of course the fan base will think Ryan Day is the worst head coach in college football, not realizing that we're not keeping up with the Joneses of financially here in college football. And we're Ohio State. Why can't we do that? Well, I don't know if you can't say it's a Ryan Day problem. God knows he wouldn't be like, no, don't give me money. Yeah. I don't want any money for the team.
What I
want to address this real fast, guys, because I started this one, and I want to just say real quick, I'm not diving into this one. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. I don't know enough about the Epstein case, nor do I really. I shouldn't say I don't care. That's not the right thing to say.
You're not enlightened enough to speak
I am not
intelligently
someone
on
who
subject.
spends all my time following the mainstream media outside of sports. I find it I find it not my cup of tea. That being said, if Les Wexner is found to have done some very dirty, despicable things, strike his name from the stadium, from this
Exactly.
university, get rid of it. I do not want any of that to be portrayed to Ohio State. And I mean that with every ounce of my being. I could care less how much money he dedicated to the university I love. But that being said, I don't know any of that stuff, and I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. When it comes up, I will stand firmly. If he's found guilty for anything like that, get rid of it. Buck Vader, this happened to Bjork at Texas A&M too.
This is true.
It did indeed.
Enlighten me. How so? I thought it was a very different thing. I thought it was trying to pay off the coach that he hired.
No, they had
Jimbo
the most.
Fisher.
They had the highest funded recruiting class in college football history at that time, and it was like the number one class in the country. And basically, they've all left
the following year, except like one or two that got stuck in because their NIL deal had it where they had to stay or pay the money back. So like two of them got stuck staying there, and all the other 5 stars jumped ship on them.
Christopher, I'm going to say this about the Epstein photos. There's a million people. Chris Tucker's in Epstein photos. It doesn't mean he did anything.
I don't know enough. I'm not even going to comment on anymore.
Stephen Hawking is in Epstein photos.
I just want it to be perfectly clear that if something comes out, and you know how Michigan fans are going to be, they're going to jump on here and they're going to use that, and some of them are already trying to use that. I want to be perfectly clear. Strike his name.
Michigan fans have no reason to talk. They still got Schembechler's name up there after what he let his freaking friend do, his best friend, the doctor, get away with up there. So, they got no room to talk. They built a statue to a scumbag, so they can stick it up there. You know what?
85362 with a $1.99 super chat. We just got a crystal ball for Earl Little Jr. Is that whole, I'll just be honest, the whole crystal ball thing is dying now too, isn't it? Because
it's a joke.
People are saying, "Hey, I got a crystal ball," and then another team swoops in and offers more at the last second, and then it's like, "Oh, I'm going to switch my crystal ball."
My wife gave me a crystal ball the other night, and it didn't happen. So I don't believe in any crystal balls anymore. So
we could use a magic 8 ball, though.
I use that, Sean. Trust me, I use that. But I think Chris hit it 100% on the head. And unless we get a collective bargaining agreement and a players' union, and everybody's playing by the same rules, you're not going to fix it, and we are going to be in lux. And the I guess the good or the bad thing about Ohio State is we self-report most of the time. Are we going to actually skirt the rules to play with the LSUs and the Texas Techs? I don't think we will. And I think as a fan base, the earlier we face that, the better we're going to be. As we're going to be, I can't say mediocre. We're just not going to be competing every year like we do.
And the fan base is going to have to get it to grip and realize if we lose 3 games next year because of our roster being a little bit depleted, I'm not saying you have to be happy with Ryan Day, but you'd have to stop thinking that recruiting is the same old like it was 15 years ago.
Right. You're hitting all over the next topic I want to hit.
Sorry about that, Eric.
Corey. So let me no, you're fine. Let me present it, and then I'll let you go first, and then we'll go around clockwise. And it's about resetting expectations.
Yeah, there you go.
As a fan of Ohio State, who is showing his age through his grayness and his beard, I remember when the only opportunity you had to win a national championship was to basically go undefeated.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was it. If you didn't go undefeated, you had no shot. Maybe a 1-loss team if you got lucky, but you needed a lot of help, and everybody else beat everybody else for that to happen. With the 12-team playoff, soon to be probably 16, let's be honest, because everybody's going to go into this thing and say, hey, getting that first round bye is not good. Let's jump it up to 16. That's what's going to happen next.
Mm.
Resetting those expectations now. We as a fans, I am slowly adapting to the NFL mindset. And this is just another NFL-like way of adapting to the new game that we have in college football. One of the things I hate about the NFL is when my players who I love say adios, I get a bigger paycheck. I mean, can you, it happens all the time. I'm sitting out unless I get a bigger paycheck, right? It's one of the things I find so disingenuous about the NFL, but it's a business. And you understand that as a fan. I'm rooting for a team who is running a business.
Mm-hmm.
College football is now running a business. And I'm having to almost reprogram my mind here a little bit and reset my expectations a little bit. Okay, Ohio State, let's get into the playoffs. Let's just get in and then we'll see where we're at. It's all about making the playoffs now. Corey, resetting expectations. Go for it.
Well, I think starting with recruiting, Ohio State obviously has been a juggernaut in recruiting for a very long time, especially since Urban got here. Um, that being said, I think recruiting is just taking a complete left turn, and it's just not going to look the same anymore. In fact, your portal rankings are going to be more important than your actual high school recruiting rankings at this point. And when fans come out and say, oh, this guy can't recruit. It's just not. We don't know the whole story. It used to be when you would be on an even playing field, allegedly, like the SEC or whatever. But when you'd be allegedly on a level playing field, and you just have to convince a kid to want to come to your school, we could say, that guy doesn't really do well with high school recruits. He's not a great recruiter. Now, I can't say the guy's not a great recruiter. He just doesn't get the budget to do it. And it's it's just different nowadays. And I don't even know how to judge it anymore. And you can't even say if a head coach should keep or not keep a coach based on recruiting because you just don't know if he can or can't because you don't know if he's getting the budget or they place the emphasis on it in high school. I think it's actually hurt our offense and defensive line recruiting the way our philosophy is these days about finding those guys in the portal. That being said, yeah, like everybody's gonna say, well, Indiana's doing it. Indiana's an anomaly right now. Nobody can explain what they're doing other than the fact they got older players. But I think it's going to be very rare from here on out that teams will go undefeated. You got to say, well, we lost 2 games, but we're probably still going to make the playoffs, try to finish strong and beat the right now, and then try to just get in and see what happens. Maybe you get the hot hand, kind of like Ohio State did in 2024. So yeah, the expectations are, you're not going to be 11-0 anymore, hardly ever. You're likely to lose 1 or 2 games because there's going to be such parity in college football where it's actually going to be easier to get bit by a lesser team or a perceived lesser program than it was even before. Because I'll tell you, the Purdue's and the Iowas from Urban Meyer's standpoint was kind of dumbfounding. Like, what the heck happened there? We just didn't play well. We were so much more talented than these teams. Nowadays, it's going to be like, well, they're not so much less talented than we are anymore. Because they could pull a guy or two that are difference makers out of the portal because if they do whatever they want to do budget wise. So, yeah, I mean, college football is just not going to be as much fun anymore because obviously the roster is going to change dramatically year after year after year now.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you fall in love with the recruits? How do you fall in love with the players? Like this guy, I've seen this guy go from being a hot freshman to being a contributor to sophomore. Now he's a starter as a junior. Now as a senior, he's a freaking star. And it's been so much fun to follow him since his sophomore year of high school when you knew he'd be a Buckeye. It's not that anymore. And it's like, well, whatever, go rent a player for a year and we'll try to win.
I think it's going to be, as Buckeye fans and me myself, I don't know if I can reset those expectations. We've tasted it. We've tasted the cake. I've want, I'm fat, so I love cake. It's like I want that every year, and it's like, am I going to be good with 3 losses? I am not. We know what we can. We're Ohio State, and I expect us to win every game. Now, will we? Probably not. But if you go back to back three lost years, day's gone because of those expectations. That's just the way the Ohio State culture is. But I will say I am saving my expectations for next year's portal because we will be without Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin. We will not have those superstars on the team. And if that is truly the case that we're getting killed in portal next year, I will be upset because now there's no excuse of, there's only so much money and 2 players are taking it. So next year, I think that's going to be our thing, and I think we'll figure out by then. And if we don't, then we're going to expect 3 losses. But you can't tell the OSU fans to reset expectations when we know how good we are and how dominant we have been in the last 10, 20 years.
All I can say is I don't want to go back to the Cooper years, guys. That killed me before. I just think if we don't do something now till they institute the salary cap, institute all these rules, either they're going to have to step their game up or they're going to get left behind until something changes. So, I mean, like Corey was saying, it's not right to put this on Ryan Day because you don't know if the guy's going to be – I mean, the guy's an awesome recruiter. We know that. But now these other teams are just throwing millions of dollars at these kids. And, of course, these kids are going to go to where the money's at most 90% of the time. So, I mean, we're screwed until they get the rules going unless the collective and everybody else steps up and starts doing something.
Hey, Sean, isn't that why we're all here is because of the money that we're being offered?
I mean,
I'm
Eric, for my Chick-fil-A deal, man.
No,
I'm Chick-fil-A deal.
I'm getting in the portal because Chris is getting paid too much for my.
Yeah, Chris is the Jeremiah Smith of this podcast, and he's taking all the money. Uh-oh.
And damn well he should be.
Where's my Chick-fil-A deal, man? I was told Chick-fil-A.
And I'm a Larry Roker of this podcast. I demand millions. So
I got the Weight Watchers endorsement, but I'm not doing very well on that. So.
I'm more like Eli Roker on here.
We're waiting for our Awaken 180 like all the other podcasters and
Corey's got the Sky Rizzi endorsement. So
okay.
Corey's Larry Roker, Sean's Eli Roker. Does that make Bart Al Roker?
Yeah, but less athletic. Yeah.
But they do have the same barber.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
I'm dead.
All right, so, Chris, get us back on track here, man.
Well, here's the thing. I don't even remember what the original question was because we've gone so
resetting
far.
expectations as an Ohio State fan.
I can't believe I'm saying I kind of agree with Bart. I'm gonna have a hard time resetting expectations, even though I know the realism is what it is. And the fact is, we've said it for 2 years now, Eric. You're not going to see another undefeated national champion. It's very unlikely. It may happen once in a great while. But we've seen what NIL has done, what the portal has done to college football is ruined the game. Let me tell you, we've seen possibly some of the last great undefeated championship runs because they're not going to happen anymore. With the expanded playoff, we have seen as Ohio State fans. I mean, I know you all love Jack Sawyer, right? Everybody loves Jack Sawyer. Mm-hmm. Well, enjoy it because that may be the last great Buckeye we see. True Buckeye, the Ohio kid who comes up and does what, like I talked about Heartline earlier, comes up, grows up a Buckeye, goes on to be a Buckeye, performs at high levels of Buckeye, wins a title as a Buckeye, then goes to the NFL as a Buckeye. I don't think we're going to see it anymore. It kind of breaks my heart in a sense because I really don't see it. May happen, but it's going to be rare. Because if you just look at what's going on in the portal today, and you talk about Biles and Coleman, 2 Ohio kids who left Ohio to begin with, had a chance to come back, and they ran for the bag. That's all these guys are going to do now. The kids in Ohio don't grow up saying, I want to be a Buckeye anymore. They grow up saying, I want to make millions. Mm-hmm. And it breaks my heart, and it kind of takes my love out of the game. But, I mean,
if it's just going to be NFL light, it's hard to love it.
It is. And the expectations, my expectation, because I grew up a Buckeye, is going to be exactly what Bart said. My expectation is we are the Buckeyes. We are going to win every game, and we're not. but that's our expectation.
Mm-hmm.
When we lose, there's going to be a damn good reason why. There's going to be accountability. And then we're going to get back up on our horse that next game and we're going to go out and fix it. That's going to be my expectation. This year, next year, every year. And I'm telling you right now, can't remember those Bart or Corey that mentioned back-to-back 9-3 seasons, and Ryan Day's gone. I don't know that's going to take that, guys. I don't know that people are going to forgive this portal year, as bad as it's been, if he doesn't do what Sean said and make impact changes right now and get this team back on track and put this team back in the playoff and make a run next year, which next year was supposed to be the year, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Next year was supposed to be the year. If Ryan Day doesn't fix this right now, I don't know if he survives another year in Columbus.
Which is insane to say, to be honest with you, because
it's insane to say, but I truly believe it.
It's not. I'm not saying you're off the path there. I'm just saying, like, to think that 2 years after a natty, people would want him gone. It's like, I mean, good luck to the next coach.
We are in a "what have you done for me lately" society.
That's true. We are.
But how long before all these good coaches just jump to the NFL? I mean,
it's going to start happening.
NFL, I'd say screw college, man. You get an off season in the NFL. You don't have to deal with free agent. Every player being a free agent year after year. You don't have to deal with all that crap. You got management taking care of it all. You get to relax for half an off season. I'd be gone. Screw.
There's only so many NFL jobs, though.
Sure.
I mean, that's the thing. But Buck Vader wants to point out, he says Smith isn't taking that much. He isn't the problem. So that's interesting.
Well, that's good to know because I really like Jeremiah, and he seems like he's doing the right thing. But who the heck is taking all the money then?
There are two guys getting major bank. And again, guys who had good seasons, who played well, but I think who were being severely overpaid. And again, not going to dive into it, but based on their playoff performance, I'd also say they were overpaid.
This is an interesting comment from our buddy ND. I think every coach and every player is year by year right now in college football. I really do.
Well, they can keep him. That's all I'm going to say.
I figured you would go down that that avenue.
With Chris's point, if these people a couple people are getting overpaid, are they getting overpaid, or would somebody else be willing to pay that? Because I think they're all overpaid, but is somebody else willing to pay that we had to do that to keep them?
I don't. And here's the thing: Ohio State's not making press releases here about any of this stuff, nor should they, for that matter.
I don't know. I think it might be better if they had.
Well, the problem is there's no uniformity across NCAA, and if Ohio State all of a sudden starts making press releases on what the contracts are per players, then you're setting a precedent that's very dangerous. And again, until things are on level playing field for all 130 some universities, you're going to continue to get a lot of things not mentioned and hidden, which creates speculation from everybody.
It's never been a level playing field. It's never been. It's never going to be.
I'm talking with the rules, Chris. Yeah. With rules.
I am too. It never is. It's never going to be. As long as the NCAA is the governing body, it's never going to be.
Okay. How would you like for me to respond to that?
How can you argue after what we just
I guess we just shut down the podcast. I guess we just quit being fans.
No, but what I'm saying is you're saying until everything is up and up, it's never going to be on the up and up. It's never going to be on an even playing field for everybody. It's just not going to happen. That is an unrealistic expectation.
Okay, that's a fair statement. But I still feel like you should strive to get to there. Right? Don't you think these commissioners of each conference, when they meet together, are trying to find level ground with each other?
No. They're looking for competitive advantage.
They're looking
out for themselves.
I don't think people care about the game as much as they care about lining their pockets.
That's right.
I think the only solution in what Chris said is a players' union. And what I mean by that is they don't care who plays for who. They represent them, the players. So if somebody's going to get extra money and I'm not getting extra money, then they're going to look into it. It's not a Texas A&M, it's not an LSU, it's not a Ohio State. It's a players' union, and they will hold themselves accountable because they don't want somebody else being making more money than them. I think that's the only way is a players' union.
Let me say this. Thank you. Too much negativity. Okay, I'm gonna reply to this, and I think you're gonna like what I'm about to say.
Nico,
And
you talking about the drink? I'm just kidding.
well, I did make a joke that when John Walker committed that there's a brand new Johnny Walker game for Ohio State fans when it comes to the sacks. Big John, let me push back on that first a little bit too. I don't think any fans should tell any other fans how to fan their fan, for a lack of better term, except for one thing. Never cross the line and make personal threats to coaches and players and their family. That is unacceptable. Outside of that, you should be allowed to fan however you want. But let me say this. One of the things that makes me who I am was my fandom for Ohio State. It is my passion beyond the relationship I have with my Savior and my family. It's my passion. I love Ohio State football. I bleed scarlet and gray. And I love players of the past, and I loved the current players, and I will fall in love with the players who are on this team next year. I will root like hell for them. Because the name that's on the front of their jersey is who I'm a fan of. And whether they want to stay here or leave, that's on them. That doesn't change my love for Ohio State. And it never will. Because that is the core of who I am. And if you're saying it steals the joy, I understand why you're saying to a degree it's stealing some of the joy you have in college football and in Ohio State in that mechanism called college football. But to say you should not be a fan of Ohio State or you should no longer like college football is literally taking a core of who I am and saying you can't be you. And that's I just do not accept that. I don't accept that. So I will continue to be a fan of this team. I will be a fan of everything about Ohio State that I love. And the stuff that I don't love, you know what? Sometimes you have to take the good with the bad. You know, when my wife married me, she married me for who I was. And now that she looks at me and she goes, "My gosh, what happened to you?" She has to take the good with the bad, but she still loves who I am, you know? And that's just reality sometimes. And as much as I don't like it, it's the core of who I am, and I'm not going to apologize to anybody for rooting for Ohio State and being a fan.
And Eric, just to follow up with that, you should be a fan. And be a fan of the team on the front of the jersey. But you know what? I 100% agree with that, but at the same time, I 100% agree with Corey that the fact that the name on the back of the jersey is become, in a lot of ways, bigger because they are making themselves bigger. These players today are putting themselves above the game. They're putting their pocketbook above the game, and it leaves us, just this bad taste in your mouth. It's sickening.
Yeah, I agree. It is a bad taste, and
I'm not telling you not to be a fan, but what I am
when
saying
this
is,
portal
let's
season's
be
done,
realistic.
when this portal season's done, I'm going to spit it out because it's a bad taste. There ain't no doubt about it. But we have a new season in college football. We have to adapt to it. Just like the coaching staff has to adapt. The coaching staff did not ask for 28 players to leave this team.
Or did they?
Maybe a few of them.
Yeah, but to Chris's point, they're being human beings. That's what they are. And I tell you what, if a job came up to me and said, I'm going to pay you $100,000 more to switch jobs, there's no loyalty. And anybody who says that either is independently wealthy or just
Or
loves
full of crap.
yeah, or just loves their job. And those are few and far between. But these kids are human beings.
And Bart, you just hit the nail on the head, Bart. It's now a job.
It is.
It didn't used to be. It didn't
not.
used to be.
And I think that as a fandom, that's where we are getting conflicted at.
You nailed it.
We still want the kids out there playing a game, and it's not a game.
When I go and pick up my stepson from powerlifting after school, and the coaches looked at him and said, at 165 pounds as a freshman, if you get up to 192, you can crack the starting lineup as a sophomore at Division I high school. And that boy has been kicking his butt every day to get that good weight on every single day. Why does he do that? For the big NIL deal? No, it's because he loves the sport. That to me is what is, and I'm not saying that these kids don't love the sport anymore, but it goes from the love of the sport to a business. And by the way, it's eking into high school sports.
Just be ready, Eric. He may be closer to an NIL deal than you think.
It's eking into high school sports too now. But yes, Bart, you hit the nail on the head. They look at it like a job, and we don't as fans because it's our passion.
Guys, and let's not forget, a lot of these kids, man, they are kids. I mean, they're not the most mature yet, and they got all these people pulling at them from behind the scenes. You got some of these parents basically auctioning their kids off to the highest bidder, like their prize cattle. I mean, some of these kids are the breadwinner for their family. They're the ones trying to get their family out of bad situations. So there's all kinds of pressures on these kids that they didn't have before. So I mean, it's a whole new game.
Can I throw this out there too? One other thing, we talked about the adjustments that need to be made with contracts and a players' union and something other. Can I also say I think that they ought to do something about this portal? I think you get one free transfer. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that would help in the time frame of it's awful.
That, and the other thing is, I think the other option is, or another thing is, if you enter the transfer portal, you don't get to come out. You're stuck with the consequences. So if nobody picks you up, guess what? You don't get anything because you don't play ball.
I love that you had to wait a year if you went into portal.
Yes.
That discouraged people, but it makes it so easy. But I go back to me being a Browns fan. It's like, do you think I love the guys? It's a job. I love the Browns whether they win or lose, but on Saturdays and Sundays, I get a lump in my throat before the kickoff because I'm so excited. And when they don't, when High State has a bye week, it kind of sucks on a Saturday. And that's just we love the game so much that it's
that lump in your throat is just the meatball hoagie that's stuck.
Dave and Chris Spielman are over, guys. I mean,
I just want to add some about expectations and resetting expectations. I totally agree with the fan that says, hey, the times are different, we have to adapt. I totally agree with that. The problem is, when you just say it like it's just like you flip on a switch and there you go. Mm-hmm. It's like college football has changed dramatically like 4 times in the last 8 years. And you're expecting our coaches and our staff to just keep, especially when we have a compliance department that's insane, and we have a AD that is iffy at best, and our coaches are just supposed to flip the switch and do what everybody else is doing. It's just never that simple anymore. It's not as simple as you go out and you recruit the best players. You get a great elite coaching staff, recruit the best players. You get 3 to 4 years to develop them. For the most part, that just isn't anymore. We're talking about just adapt. Okay, what's your first clue to adapt? How do you just turn on a switch and you're just different? That's just not how it works. As we talk about us as fans having trouble adjusting to it, I guarantee you these coaches that have done it one way forever growing up through the coaching program, all of a sudden have to completely. We're in new uncharted territory, having to change their way of doing things, basically on a yearly basis. I mean, they're just going through a lot of growing pains, unfortunately. And we see that one team gets it right one year. Oh, see, they've got the blueprint, and then all of a sudden they're nowhere to be heard of again. We thought Texas going into this year was going to be the best team in the country. It's just not that simple, and I wish people would kind of take that into account. It isn't a switch you flip. It's just something you have to constantly manage
Yeah.
and adjust to.
But you
Nick
can't
Saban
the
managed
development anymore,
this
guys.
adjustment better than anybody.
Let me
Okay,
give you,
Aaron, then how do they adapt? Please, just say it. Stop saying adapt. Adapt. What do you do? What's your first plan?
so
Go money.
this is how it's explained to me by someone at Ohio State, connected to Ohio State. Ohio State, the athletic department at Ohio State is not a speedboat. It's a freaking, like what do they kill those carriers? Like, the giant long
Freighters, like freighters.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get that sucker turned around, because there's so many departments and things involved in that it's not just overnight and boom, we've got things going in a different direction. So I understand where the frustration is coming from by everybody on this, and we wanted to kind of bring it all together a little bit tonight. Fahim was not a person I expected to jump in the portal, and here he is. And so here we are asking questions again, and the frustrations are boiling over by this fan base. I am very, very interested for that next media availability for Ryan Day, what that's going to be like.
How about
He's gonna have,
Bjork? How about
he's
Bjork?
gonna both of them, yes. With the next time there's a press conference.
I want a press pass.
I know.
So bad do I want to.
I know, because there are too many people who don't know how to. Well, you can't ask that. Yes, you can. You can ask that question intelligently, appropriately. You might not get the answer.
And aggressively.
Aggression is, again.
I regress.
You might get your press pass revoked if you're too aggressive.
Hey, I'll tell you who I really feel bad for, and it's not us. And I'll tell you why. Is the lesser programs, the lesser Big Ten programs, the lesser Pac-10 that develop these kids, and they have a breakout year.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what? They lose them. But guess what? Ohio State has a chance with every top portal person that every other college team does not have. And we are right there.
Have you looked at the portal lately?
I mean,
where's Ohio State landing these kids?
It doesn't matter. We still have that chance. They still come to our campus. We don't lose a Jeremiah Smith. We don't lose a Julian Sand. We don't develop these people and become superstars and then they leave. We actually have a chance to see some of our superstars play, and we will get some good play. I mean, what happened last year? Will Howard, Quinshon Junkins, they were the top portal people that we had, and we got them.
And we got them early.
That was last year.
We did, but it's a different world. But I don't feel bad for us because it's just the teams that develop these kids, and then they leave when they become superstars. Well, that's not going to happen here.
Look at the list now, man. We're not even going to get a chance to develop some of these kids. I mean, we developed Delane into a starter. He's gone. I mean, a lot of these guys are 1 or 2 years into the program. They come here, they get developed a little bit, and then
these kids are so short-sighted, Sean.
Yeah,
the kids are so short-sighted. They're not about development. They're about the bag. They're about the bag. That's all this is. It's about money. Nothing more than damn money. That's all this is.
Okay, Nick Nolte.
Well, I tell you what, if Ohio State doesn't change course of being that, line that lake freighter up so it can turn around a lot quicker, it's going to end up at the bottom of the lake, man.
Absolutely.
We're going to be one of these teams that used to be great, and we're a has-been, and we're sitting there as one of the lesser programs. That could happen if we don't change it, man.
I don't think that's possible, and let me tell you why I don't think that's possible. It's a Saturday night at 8:32 p.m. There are 165 people watching on YouTube, another 162 on X on a Saturday night. This fan base holds this program accountable.
Or we just don't have
Eric-
dates. We don't have
Eric,
anybody to date.
I'm going to give you the perfect counterbalance to that.
Sure.
When you say that what Sean said was wrong, that this program can't fail to that level,
I didn't say it was wrong. I said I would push back on it.
okay, go up to the Muni lot up at Cleveland Stadium someday on a Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
How many people are sitting there? How many people are out there partying? How many fans do the Cleveland Browns have, even though they've put a crap product on the field for 2 decades?
You're
They sell out
comparing
everything.
You're comparing
No,
apples
not
and
anymore.
oranges.
20 years ago, we were comparing apples to oranges. This is the new NCAA. We are comparing apples to apples now.
He gets his nickname, honestly, people. He earned the last name Wilds. He gets Grumpy Cat, the nickname that Mika gave him, honestly. He is the yin to my yang. I will continue to be Mr. Positivity over here. Maybe you don't have to. I don't know. There's a lot going on. I understand your frustration, Chris. I do.
I'm not frustrated. I'm pissed off.
I'm with you, Chris.
But this is all about money. It really is. And let's not vilify these kids because they're taking money. My gosh, if a rival school, Chris, asked you to say, "Hey, I'll give you $50,000 more to teach the same subject over there," you would do it.
No.
I'm not vilifying the kids. I'm vilifying.
No. I'll tell you right now. I will tell you because I'm going to tell you right now. I have actually told the people I work for, if they tried to move me to another school, I would put in my resignation.
But
I didn't care about the money.
It's your choice.
If Ben Moore paid me more money than Sherwin Williams, I'd leave.
That's 100 exactly. So let's not vilify these kids for doing what we would do every day of our freaking lives. So you can say, "Oh, that's about the money." Hell yes, it's about the money. Why wouldn't it be? We would do the same thing.
Well, I'm vilifying
21-year-old kids. So
maybe your soul's for sale, Bart. Mine's not.
Well,
I'm not,
okay.
I'm
Well,
not
I'll tell you right now, Chris, you are one of the very few, and I commend you for that. I love my job, and I could make more money, but I stayed. But we are very few, and we're not 18, 19, 20 years old either. So let's not vilify these kids for taking
This
money.
also brings up another point, Bart, is when we do lose kids to the NIL, because they are, look, I agree with you, rightfully going after the bigger buck, because they're not all guaranteed to go to the NFL or even succeed in the NFL.
Mhm.
So they got to get what they can get now. I totally get it. But right now, it's basically when we lose a recruit, it's us versus the field. And people say we're not spending enough money. Well, we may allocate a certain amount for a guy, and some other school says, no, we think you're worth twice that much, and we just can't afford to keep them. You know, so and then we're vilifying our own coaching staff and everybody for it, and it's like, well, they just couldn't do it because they got a whole at least 10 to 20 teams with a lot of money that want that kid just way more than we can afford them.
But we are vilifying our coaching staff not because of them not paying enough money out front. We are vilifying our coaching staff for breaking promises.
Oh, well, that I agree with you, Chris. I mean, if they're breaking promises, then yeah. I
as
agree.
far as the money out front goes, Eric, you and I, back after the Michigan loss, we had that talk, and we were told, don't look for Ohio State to go put out money on rookies who have not played. Don't look for Ohio State to be throwing big contracts, especially guys like offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. You remember Ryan told us that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you're not going to see it. It's not the philosophy. You're not going to throw big money at guys who've never put on the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, but we got guys that put on the uniform and they're not getting,
right, and that is where the problem lies.
That's where I'm pissed off at. It's not throwing $1 million at a high school kid that you don't know if he's going to piss himself when he gets on the field on Saturdays. When we develop these kids and they're getting ready to start for us, then they jump. That's what's pissing me off. As we sit here and we make these promises to these kids, and then the promises get broken to them and they take off. I mean, we develop them, they're ready. Let's, then they're gone.
Again, I want to circle back to my original comment. We could sit here and we could argue about this like we are, and we will, because that's what we do. What else are we going to do? Our wives definitely aren't going to go out with us tonight. So I'm kidding. Actually, that's where I
Just
was
rub
at
it in that
today.
I'm not married. I appreciate that.
Exactly.
Corey, we're gonna lose Corey big time. He's gonna have that honeymoon. He's gonna be like,
Oh,
dudes, it's
yeah.
a Saturday night. Deuces. Look at his smile. He knows it too. He's like, that's the plan, boys. Here, let me say this though. I want to be patient. It's hard to be patient when you see 28 names in a portal. It's hard to be patient. But I want to give time and space to watch this play out so that we can intelligently say, here was their plan. The problem is we don't know what their plan is. We thought we knew what their plan was. It's not playing out that way.
Set the stadium on fire. That seems to be their plan right now.
That's your plan.
Go back to
No, that's not my plan.
That's what you think's going on, and it's not.
That is what I think is what
Ohio Stadium is still there. You can drive right by it right now if you want. I promise you, it's still there.
And that's what fans are going to do. They're going to drive right by it when we're 8-4.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
we're 7-5.
We're misplacing our anger here.
I think so, Bart.
I'm angry at you, Bart. I don't think I misplaced anything.
Well, I think we should be angry at whoever decided that college football should be a job. We are still treating it like it's not, and we're pissed off at the process, and I think that's where our hatred lies.
Well, let's be real here. We're not mad that players are getting paid. They deserve to be paid. We're mad at the structure right now. The structure is a joke at the moment.
100%.
Because what it was set up for was name, like, and then but
name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, and that's not what's happening right now, and nobody's doing anything about it. And that's what's the frustrating thing is all this stuff's going down. There's tampering going on. I mean,
well, I'll tell you straight up right now, with me being over on the College Huddle, Sean, I get to interact with a lot of fan bases. Go interact right now with the Texas Tech fans. Woo! They love this new college football,
They're
baby.
Loving it. Yeah, they got that.
They have been nothing. Yeah. They aren't even the fourth best school in their state. Okay, they are Akron in that state for the longest time.
But I would argue right now they are the best team in their state.
They have all of a sudden become the best team in Texas, the best team in their conference. They're going to college football playoffs, and this new world that they live in has, in their minds, leveled the playing field. This is fair to them because they've never had a shot till now. And so maybe that's why my perspective might be a little different, is because I do interact with those fans. I interact with a lot of G6 guys. Bart, you brought it up early. They have what we are experiencing right now. They experience every year. Yeah. They lose half or more of their roster every single year.
They can blame Bloomington for that.
It's just a part of.
That's why they need their own playoff structure and their own league and not be in with the big boys.
So that being said, I pulled up some stats I want to share with you guys all right now. This is according to AI, so take that however you will. There are 11,000 total NCAA football players in Division I, roughly. Somewhere around 11,000. There are currently over 4,500 in the portal.
I thought they said today that the number reached 5,000.
Did it? So we're almost at half. Half of all, and if you take away the kids who just graduated, it's probably over half.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be more of a rotational turnover.
Now we don't have the numbers total yet, obviously, but this is according to AI again. The portals opening in January 2026 saw an immediate surge with over 4,500 Division I players entering within the first day and exceeding 4,700 within the first week. Last year, the total last year, 3,700, already 1,000 more. 2 years ago, over 2,300. 4 years ago, just under 2,000.
It's a tsunami, man.
5 years ago, 1,500. What we are experiencing as Ohio State fans right now, we are not alone. It took 5 years to hit us in a way. So you're right, Corey. The earthquake happened 5 years ago. The tsunami is now reaching Columbus, Ohio. And there might be a lot of little nuance involved in this, Chris, that has added to the problem this year. We'll find out after it's all said and done. But you're right, Bart. It's the process. Corey, it's the process that we're angry about. And the numbers reveal that. And the NCAA right now feels kind of – this is what I think the NCAA is doing. This is all what you all asked for. Have at it.
And they're
It's
right.
what you all wanted.
And I almost think that was the approach they took back in August.
I'm
wanted us to just leave our hands off of everything? We're done.
Just give us money.
Kind of feel like sitting in an office across from the NCAA and just asking them, what would you say it is you do here?
Collect checks, buddy.
Yeah, boy, did they ever.
We collect checks. This has been, I don't know if it's been therapeutic or not.
My diagnosis is no, it has not.
Okay. The doctor
it's
said
got my blood pressure up again.
Hey, you need to be careful. Chris, share with everybody what happened last Sunday. Because where did Chris go? Like, he was with us, and then the next thing you know, he was gone. Chris, tell everybody what happened.
So
Hold on, Chris. Wait. Let's make this official. Give me 1 second. Let's make this. Let's do this the right way. Okay. All right, Chris. Well, hold on. Let me see. I got to do this right. All right, Chris. The floor is yours.
Okay, so last Sunday, as some of you may know, Alex and I got into a bit of a heated discussion over what the rivalry really meant. Was it still as important as it once was? And I contended rather vigorously that it was not, that in the day of the new playoff era, it was not the game, but rather just a game at this point. I still contend that, by the way. That being said, during that very heated debate, for those of you who don't know, I've been quite ill the last couple of weeks and taking some medication that affects my already high blood pressure. This heated debate sent me into a bit of a frenzy, shall we say, where my blood pressure spiked to very, very dangerous levels. So it was time that I had to step away from the air and just calm myself down, breathe, and try to regain a little self-control before I ended up either having a heart attack or a stroke live on the show. So that is what happened. That is where I went to last week.
So I'm going to cut up that entire segment, and we're going to literally put it online. Argument sends Ohio State fan to ER.
And I had Chris's back in that
I
argument,
did not go to the ER.
How about I know, but more people will click on it, Chris. Let's be honest.
Clickbait them like some other.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, let's put clickbait up there like some other podcast.
Yeah.
Eric. Nice.
That's what we're gonna do, guys. This has been. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you smash that thumbs up on the way out if you haven't already. Tomorrow night is our 7th annual award show, Buckeye Award Show. We were the first. No one else. I don't know anybody else who had Buckeye Awards before us. We were the first. We will be on live air tomorrow. Yeah, tuxedo shirts and all tomorrow. Giving you all, and by the way, go over to our Patreon, sign up for free. If you don't have to be a paying member to do this. Sign up on Patreon for free. Links below in the notes below. Go be a free member, and then you'll see all the different categories on the homepage. Scroll down, there's all of them. Click on them. Vote. It's fan vote this year. It's not just podcast host voting. You guys get to vote. It is fan vote. You get to choose the winner for all of those awards. They will be announced tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, right here on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're locked in. Subscribe to the channel. We had a really great day in subscriptions again yesterday. Thank you so much. We are less than 200 away from 7,000 subscribers.
All right. Let's go,
with
guys.
just 200 more, we'll hit 7K here on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, please do so. We would really appreciate that. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And Corey, Bart, Sean, Chris, thank you for joining me on short notice tonight.
Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
Eric, can we get to the breaking news real quick about you want to tell everybody about our venture we're doing? We are making a production of Magic Mike with the 5 podcasters here, and it's going to be called Magic Eric.
Bart, why, Bart?
I'm trying to get the people excited about.
We're trying to get people to watch, not turn us
You
off.
noticed the number just dropped by like 40.
It did. We went from 140 to 140 something to 117 like that.
Dude, now I'm gonna have to carry a stick with me, so when the women attack me, I'm gonna have to keep it away from me.
Oh,
Thanks, Bart.
I thought you were carrying it for something else.
I'll be ripping my shirt off. No. Way to go, Bart.
Sorry, Eric.
Fair.
Go back to our venture.
Fair. Patreon is the Cool Kids Buckeye Club. Do it.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
You get a free picture of Bart in a Speedo if you join.
TG wants to know if there will be a recording of the Patreon.
No, I don't think
she's-
she's letting you all know she's going to have a recording on Patreon tomorrow
Gotcha.
of her show. Not us, Bart. No. God, no. What's that meme from The Office? No. God, no.
I don't know if they can handle that after what I did today. So
Troy says, where do I sign up? Patreon. There should be right below in the notes on this on YouTube. There should be a link for our Patreon. If you go there, follow the instructions on how to sign up. There is a free version. The free version only gets you so many things. You can vote. There's a free message board. $5 a month will get you everything. And if you really, really like me and you feel like I deserve an extra $15 a month, there's a $20 version to pay my mortgage. I appreciate that.
I think he's talking about the movie, Eric, not the Patreon. So.
Oh God, no.
He wants to know where he signs up at.
I doubt he's talking about that. I seriously doubt that. Oh, he is. Oh, Troy.
See, I told you that is a hello. The perfect thing ever, right there. It's going. It's a go. It's a go,
Well,
Eric.
this is my last podcast, guys.
I'm gonna start doing some push-ups tonight.
I'm entering the portal, guys. I'll see you later.
Yeah. I love it. Mika says, I love you guys, but that is nightmare inducing. Thanks, TG. TG says, amazing show. Guys, that reminds me, we're about ready to enter into our season. We start a new season, if you will, after the college football season ends. There's a lot of exciting things on the horizon for you guys. A lot of exciting things. We're actually taking this baby to the next step here in a couple weeks. There's going to be a lot more new shows. There's going to be some new channels for you guys. There's a lot of stuff we are doing here with the team that we have working here. And, of course, a lot of it stems from the hub we are creating at Patreon. So please go be a part of Patreon. Thank you so much for your time tonight, guys. We appreciate all of you. Don't forget tomorrow night's live show at 8 o'clock. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, you all know what to do. OH! That was in unison. There is hope. Good night, everybody.
That'll solve